Shalom Israel and all blacks and Hispanics that's gonna be celebrating Christmas, New Year's and all that stuff coming up. Just want to make a quick video out of what's been going on with the whole Jesus is white, Megyn Kelly comments with Santa Claus is white. She made some statements about Santa being white, and I wanted to go to the books and see why it's very important that we know that these people were not Europeans, but that they took the story of this brother and merged it with Babylonian customs and created the story of Christmas. It's deep rooted in paganism, and I'm going to prove that. First, we're going to see who Saint Nick is. I got a book here called Old Russian Painting, right? Old Russian Painting. I'm going to turn here. Let's see what we find here in this book. This is called Old Russian Paintings. I believe it's, where is it? That's not it. There goes Christ there, black. Where is it? There we go. Okay, who is this guy with the crosses on his chest, on his robe? That is Saint Nick, Saint Nicholas, the original Santa Claus. Who is it? Saint Nicholas with scenes from his life. What century? 18th century. This is 18th century Russia. So they took this brother's life here. This brother was a saint in Russia. What he did was he went around giving gifts to orphans, and he was admired for that. What Europeans did when they found that story, they merged him with the Babylonian custom of the Christmas tree story and created Christmas. Let's see if what I'm saying is correct. We have the two Babylons. Here we have another book, The Two Babylons, by Alexander Hislop. I'm going to go into this book real quick. Let's see what this dude got to say. This is another historian here, a historian. Let's see what he got to say. Long before the 4th century, and long before the Christian era itself, a festival was celebrated among the heathen. Remember, the Bible says in Jeremiah 10 and 3, learn not the way of the heathen. But this right here is a heathen's custom. At the precise time of the year, in honor of the birth of the son of the Babylonian queen of heaven. Let's read on down. That Christianity was originally a pagan festival is beyond all doubt. Wait a minute. The Bible, this historian said there is no doubt that Christianity was that Christmas, was originally a pagan festival. So if it's originally a pagan festival, what is it now? It's still pagan as hell. It's still pagan. Let's see what Job got to say about that. Go to the prophet Job. Let me just see what that brother got to say. Let's see. Let's see what Job got to say. Go to Job 14, verse 4. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Can't no man on this earth make Christmas clean. Can't nobody make Thanksgiving clean. Can't nobody make New Year's clean or Easter clean. Why? Because it's all rooted in paganism. All of it. It's either pagan or murderous, like your Thanksgiving. All of it. I'm going to read it again. Job 14 verse 4. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. So when you go say, oh, well, I do it for the kids, yada, yada. The Bible says it's unclean. You can't make the thing clean. Don't matter if you got 1,000 kids, you want to buy 1,000 presents. You can't make it clean. It's not clean. Real quick, let me divert. I'm going to go to 1 Thessalonians 5 and 22. Real quick. Because, I know how we are. We're a very weak bunch of people, man. We justify our wickedness just because we yeah, but it's for the kids. It's for the kids. That doesn't make it right. I'm in 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Let's see what this says. Abstain from all appearance of evil. Your wicked holiday, that's an evil holiday, man. Let's go on back to this guy here. Let's go on back to the two Babylons. All right? Because like I said, the Bible says abstain from all appearance of evil. You got to abstain from Christmas, New Year's, and Halloween and all that garbage. Here we got back in the two Babylons. Let's see what Constantine did. To conciliate the pagans to nominal Christianity, Rome, who Constantine was running Rome at the time, pursuing its usual policy, took measures to get the Christians and pagan festivals amalgamated. And by a complicated but skillful adjustment of the calendar, it was found no difficult matter in general to get paganism and Christianity, now far sunk in what? Idolatry, in this as in so many other things, to shake hands. You Christians are shaking hands with the idolaters and pagans, man. Matter of fact, you are the pagans. And you think you're clean. You're not clean. You're in paganism. You celebrating Christmas, you're in paganism, man. New Year's and all that garbage. That's garbage. And it has nothing to do with Christ. Well, maybe Christ changed that. Let's see if Christ changed that. Let me go to Matthew's real quick. Let's go to Matthew's 15:3. Matthew's chapter 15, verse 3. But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? Why do you transgress God's laws by keeping Christmas, by keeping New Year's and Easter? You are breaking God's laws. So let's find out what law you're breaking. Let's go to Exodus. Let's go to the very first commandment. Exodus 20, verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. You ain't even keeping commandment number 1. And you're going about celebrating silliness that has nothing to do with Jesus the Christ. Now, we proved Santa was black, right? Let's see about Christ. We already know about the Bible and Revelations 1 and 14, right? I'll read that next anyway. This is another book, another author. Nature Knows No Color Lines. Queen Charlotte on the front, a black woman, by J.A. Rogers, right? A black woman that's now portrayed as white, of course. She was a Moor. This is a Moor right here. We remember the Moors ruled Europe back in the Byzantine Empire until the Edomites came back and retook it and had the Renaissance and whitewashed all the black art, right? So let's see about what this has to say about Christ. The earliest, where I want to read. Okay. Eisler R. says that Josephus, Jewish historian of the 1st century, said that Christ was a man of simple appearance, mature age, dark skin. What? Dark skin with little hair. About 4.5 feet, 54 or 58 inches, hunchback with a long face, and an undeveloped beard. The early Christians, he says, accepted that picture, including Tertullian and Augustine, but that the halosis underwent the usual corrections at the usual corrections at the hands of Christian copyists with a view to embellishment. So they embellished and gave you Caesar Borgia, the white portrait of Christ, and put it all over the earth. And when? The Renaissance. Here it goes. A portrait of Christ entirely apocryphal and with absolutely no foundation in truth. The image you see now has no foundation in truth of Christ. Christ as a white man is a lie. Christ was a black man from the tribe of Judah. So that would make what? The Jews black. Obviously, the Bible says the Jews are black in Jeremiah 14:2. It's all over the Bible. A portrait of Christ, entirely apocryphal and with absolutely no foundation in truth, was conceived somewhere along the line by a what? By a European artist. Who was that artist? Leonardo da Vinci was one of those artists. The other one was Machiavelli. Somewhere along the line by a European artist according to European ideals of beauty. And that seems to have served as concept for thousands of pictures that since followed. That's why every Easter you see that lion image of Caesar Borgia as Jesus Christ all over the earth. Since the first one or ones were entirely the product of what? Imagination, it follows that all the rest are. Their only value is artistic. Wow. So I'm gonna go back to what this Tim Hughes said. Tim Wise, excuse me. Let's hear him again and see how it affects so-called blacks and Hispanics today. There we go. Let me rewind this here. Let me refresh this page here.
Jesus was not born in a manger in central Pennsylvania. He was a man of color, and the fact that we have represented him for centuries, literally as a white man, speaks to the entire history of white supremacy. The
That's right.
White Jesus has been used to justify enslavement, conquest, colonialism, the genocide of indigenous peoples. There are literally millions of human beings whose lives have been snuffed out by people who conquered under the banner of a white god.
Okay, so now I'm at portrait of Jesus the Christ according to the Bible. Revelations 1:14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes like a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass. Brass is brown. Brass is a derivative of brown. It ain't pale red, it ain't pale white, it's brown. Right? And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. Because Christ spoke loud. Remember, Christ spoke to 5,000 people at once. How did he do that? Was there megaphones back then? No. So how did he do that? Because Christ spoke loud. So what have we learned here today? We've learned that Jesus Christ is a black man according to the Bible and according to historians. What else have we learned? That Saint Nick is a black man according to history. What else have we learned? Christmas is a lie and pagan as hell. Christianity is a lie and pagan as hell. And with that, I say shalom.